A couple of videos ago, we talked about how there's some things from Breath of the Wild that's missing in Tears of the Kingdom, such as the Divine Beast, the towers that were in Breath of the Wild, and even the shrines are all gone. But something else that was missing is the Guardians, which was a really fun and creepy enemy to fight in the overworld. And I really do doubt that there is no possible way that these enemies are all completely gone in Tears of the Kingdom. Now, there is a chance that the kingdom completely got rid of all Guardians, but there has to be some remnants of them somewhere, right? They had to be buried underground or somewhere in the depths. It just makes sense. There's no way they picked up every last one. Well, today I'm here to talk about how there could be a chance that the Guardians are still alive somewhere, that there could be Guardians hidden underground or deep in the depths that Nintendo could definitely use as a cool pack for DLC. And I have some potential really cool ideas that I think they could use them with. But before we get started, stop what you're doing, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Nintendo in general. And a lot of you guys watching this video right now are not yet subscribed. So stop what you're doing, let's help move this bar up a little bit, and all you gotta do is subscribe to the channel. It's that easy, it just takes a couple seconds. Thank you so much, and let's jump into the video. Now yes, Age of Calamity takes place in a different timeline because of the alternating events that change how it works out with Terrako and the bad Terrako coming from the future and all that jazz, but a lot of the events still happen probably the same way, and it gives us a better view as to how they prepared for the Great Calamity and what they did to prepare for this creature. And one of the things we get to see is how they were crafting and mining out all of these Guardians. The Divine Beast and the Guardians were both dug up from the ground, and I believe they could have even made some more, but lots of them were dug up from the past war, which means they were already in the earth waiting to be found. I mean, they've even showed scenes of them digging out the Divine Beast from the rock. So this tells me that there could be even more Guardians or maybe even more Divine Beasts that are hidden somewhere underground. Remember, there were actually lots of concept art for different Divine Beasts. That's for a separate video, but more or less Guardians. There definitely could be more Guardians underground, and they just haven't been dug up yet. And this is where my theory begins. What better time to bring them back, and what better way to bring them back than now? We have a giant underground world, the depths that are completely under Hyrule, which is a perfect place to have tons of ancient Guardians just resting somewhere down here. And they could easily incorporate this in a future DLC pack. This doesn't even have to be the biggest one. Imagine if they just gave us tons of new corrupted Guardians to hunt down and fight down here. That would be awesome. We could have the regular ones or even the mini scout versions return, and just new enemies to fight in the underground would be really cool. Now, Age of Calamity also gave us new variants, which had different effects such as fire, ice, and electric, which we could also see with certain enemies in Tears of the Kingdom like the Keese and even the Like-Likes. So it would be really cool to have different variants of these creatures underground, the same way also like the bosses like the Gleeoks, for instance, have different effects. So could these Guardians that we have to take down, and they're now new overworld bosses. Also, remember we had Malice Guardians, or in this case we could have Gloom Guardians, which isn't a big deal since most of the enemies, pretty much all the enemies down below in the depths, are Gloom corrupted. So these Gloom corrupted Guardians could maybe have like new attacks and a new version of them that we have to take down, which would be really cool. Now, the story could be maybe a Guardian gets corrupted like the one that's on the map at Hateno Tech Lab, or maybe one that's hidden underground somewhere and it awakens because it gets corrupted by the Gloom. We have to chase after them in the depths, and maybe we have a sensor that lets us know when we're close to one, and we have to track them down and kill all of them before they make their way above ground or something like that. Some of them could hide and not move until you get really close and jump out and scare you, or some of them might be walking around the depths in a very creepy way. I think that would be awesome. One other way we can track them is that we'll know because maybe they affect the nearby light routes where they turn them off, like 3 or 4 in the area, and you have to go to that area and slowly track down this Guardian. Maybe there's like little paths that it leaves, or maybe it kills other enemies or something, and you can just see dead bokoblins or something laying around, and we have to track this thing with our sensor. This will also be huge for those that have already completed the depths and maybe they lit up the whole place and they want to experience the dark again. This is a great way to do so. There could be some Guardians messing around with the light routes where they turn some of them off, making it creepy and pitch black again. And maybe we have to go to each of those light routes to turn them back on, or defeat that Guardian in order to fix all the light routes underground again. Something else that would be really cool is maybe we learn that there's one giant guardian somewhere down there. I mean, we see some giant statues if you came across them anyways, like giant Poe statues, I think they are. But what if there was a giant guardian that was like half stuck in the wall and it was sending out all this corruption to the other guardians, and we finally find at the end, after defeating the ones that are running around the depths, that this giant one is super deep underground in a different location that opens up thanks to this DLC. And we get down there and see it sticking out of the wall, and we fight it a little bit until eventually it breaks out of the wall and we have a 1v1 against a giant guardian. That would be super cool. And imagine we had to scale the thing, or maybe use Ascend after we stun it to go inside of it and take it apart from the inside. And maybe there's even little guardian scouts on the inside protecting it that we have to take down as well, and break different, batteries or tubes on the inside in order to bring the thing down. Ooh, this would be so cool. I've actually brought up this concept before a very long time ago, and I pretty much said it reminded me a lot of Mario Galaxy with Mega Leg, where Mario has to run up its giant legs in order to get to the top and have it kind of defeat itself by shooting bullet bills at its own cage. And I think this concept could work really well with Tears of the Kingdom, especially with Link being able to go through things now. I think it would be really cool that we could even go into the inside of this giant machine. I think there's so much potentials for Guardians, and I think a giant one is one that we still have not seen yet on paper, and we haven't even seen one in Breath of the Wild, so I would love to see just one giant Mega Guardian. Yes, I know technically the Divine Beast are giant Guardians if you look at it that way, but no, I want a giant Guardian. I think that would be so cool, especially in the deep dark depths. One example I also used was the Emmy from Metroid Dread, which chased you around a facility until it eventually caught you. I thought something like this with Tears of the Kingdom would be really cool in a 3D environment, and in a dark underground version of Hyrule would be even cooler, of these giant mechanical monsters trying to attack you down in the depths, or you trying to track these things down and realize they're tracking you down as well. Very similar to Metroid Dread, in fact. So yeah, take that with how you will. Now, I truly don't know if Nintendo is even gonna have DLC for Tears of the Kingdom. If they will, I feel like there are tons of things that they could do with this. And of course, I'm gonna keep making videos on different DLC ideas, so if you have any ideas that you would like to share, comment them down below and your whole idea could get featured in a future video. Let me know what you would like to see added to this game and cool things that they could expand on. But thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all things Tears of the Kingdom and Nintendo in general. And like always, guys, I will see you all on the next one. See ya.